Welcome to NTD Newsroom. I'm Don Ma. Two National Guardsmen in critical condition after being shot just blocks away from the White House. The shooting suspect, identified as a 29-year-old Afghan national who drove across the country to attack. President Trump calling it an act of terror, while the shooter's motive is still unknown. We talked to a Gold Star sister about the emotional toll when families are faced with tragedy, like the families of the shooting victims. FBI Director Kash Patel responds to reports that President Trump is ready to fire him. He speaks exclusively to the Epoch Times about that and what's next in the case against former FBI Director James Comey. The death toll from a massive fire at a residential complex in Hong Kong has risen to 83. What police have said about the cause of one of the city's deadliest fires in decades. The weather could play spoil sports over the Thanksgiving holiday. Winter storms and snow. What the forecast looks like as the country gears up for one of the busiest holiday travel seasons on record. Buzz Lightyear, Pikachu, and other beloved characters are joining the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Kicking off the holiday season on the streets of Manhattan. We have more on this year's celebrations.
This is NTD Newsroom, live from our global headquarters in New York City.
Good afternoon, happy Thanksgiving, and thank you for joining us today. Two National Guardsmen are in critical condition a day after being shot just blocks away from the White House. President Trump calling the shooting an act of terror and deploying 500 more National Guard troops in the nation's capital. We now go live to NTD's Washington correspondent, Mari Otsu, who was on the scene when the shooting happened yesterday and has been closely following the situation. Mari, good afternoon. What's the latest?
Don, good afternoon. Yes, we're here at the scene of the shooting that happened at just before 2:15 p.m. yesterday behind me at the West Farragut Station, which is just a couple of blocks up from the White House, less than a mile. I was on my way with my cameraman in an Uber to work right on this corner, turning left here onto 17th when I heard multiple shots ring out, and the bus stop behind me got shot through. Glass was flying everywhere, and I saw a National Guardsman fall down. We now have identified both of the guardsmen who have been shot and have been in hospital with critical injuries, both having undergone surgery. We also know the identity of the shooter, a 29-year-old Afghan national. And yes, in the days since, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser has been calling this a targeted attack. That Afghan national is currently being charged with 3 counts of assaults with a deadly weapon and possession of a firearm during a violent crime. And here's U.S. Attorney for D.C. Jeanine Pirro and FBI Director Kash Patel talking about the shooter this morning. Watch.
The suspect, he has been identified as Ramanullah Lakhanwal, a 29-year-old Afghan who entered the United States under Biden's Operation Allies Welcome, a program following the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. What we know about him is that he drove his vehicle across country from the state of Washington with the intended target of coming to our nation's capital.
I also spoke to Director of the CIA, John Ratcliffe, last night, and Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. There is confirmation now that the subject had a relationship in Afghanistan with partner forces. We are fully investigating that aspect of his background as well, to include any known associates that are either overseas or here in the United States of America. That is what a broad-based international terrorism investigation looks like.
And the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services announced late Wednesday night that it is stopping immediately processing applications from Afghanistan in the wake of the shooting. And President Trump also, at 9:15 p.m. last night from Mar-a-Lago, Florida, addressed the nation after the shooting, saying that Lakhanwal was, quote, flown in by the Biden administration in September 2021 on one of those infamous flights that everyone was talking about. President Trump referring here to a Biden-era program called Operation Allies Welcome, which provided entry to Afghan nationals after U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021. Take a look.
This heinous assault was an act of evil, an act of hatred, and an act of terror. It was a crime against our entire nation. It was a crime against humanity. The hearts of all Americans tonight are with those two members of the West Virginia National Guard and their families. The love of our entire country is pouring out for them. We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden, and we must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not belong here or add benefit to our country. If they can't love our country, we don't want them. America will never bend and never yield in the face of terror.
Biden administration says that Operation Allies Welcome was intended to support what it calls vulnerable Afghans, including those who worked alongside the U.S. in Afghanistan. Meanwhile, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem criticizes the program as having allowed in, quote, thousands of unvetted Afghan nationals, including terrorists. Don.
And Mari, what do we know about the two guardsmen who were shot?
Sure, Don. So Janine Pirro this morning has identified the two wounded members of the National Guard as 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom and 24-year-old Andrew Wolf. Both are members of the West Virginia National Guard. And a few months back, when President Trump mobilized the D.C. National Guard on August 11th, 300 Guard from West Virginia were deployed to Washington, D.C., and 160 then volunteered to extend their service and remain in D.C. until the end of the year. The rest of their unit returned home last week. And Governor Patrick Morrisey of West Virginia last night praised the two soldiers, adding that West Virginia would never forget their service and sacrifice. And Attorney General Pam Bondi says this about the two soldiers this morning. Watch.
I'd like to add something about the young woman. She volunteered to be there on Thanksgiving, working today. She volunteered, as did many of those guards, men and women, so other people could be home with their families. Yet now their families are in hospital rooms with them while they are fighting for their lives. So, just pray, everyone pray today for these two soldiers, these two guards, the man and woman. They are heroes. They are the best of the best. They are working so we can all go to church, so our kids can go to school, so we can celebrate Thanksgiving with our families. Yet this horrific tragedy happened right now, and these families are having Thanksgiving at the bedside of their children and their family.
Attorney General Pam Bondi adds that Lachenwall's charges essentially are dependent on the prognosis of the two wounded National Guardsmen, but that the worst-case scenario will be minimum life in prison with terrorism charges. And meanwhile, President Trump announces that he is deploying 500 additional National Guardsmen to the nation's capital. Don, back to you.
Okay, Mari, thank you for the report. The Pentagon says it's ordering 500 more National Guard troops into Washington, D.C. following yesterday's shooting. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says the deployment comes at President Trump's request.
In fact, this happened just steps away from the White House. It will not stand. And that's why President Trump has asked me, and I will ask the Secretary of the Army to the National Guard, to add 500 additional troops, National Guardsmen, to Washington, D.C. This will only stiffen our resolve to ensure that we make Washington, D.C. safe and beautiful.
And the investigation is ongoing regarding the shooting of two National Guard members in Washington, D.C. yesterday. Joining us to discuss is Taylor Hathorn, visiting fellow at the Independent Women's Center for American Safety and Security. So, Taylor, happy Thanksgiving to you. Thank you for being here today. And it's unfortunate that we have to talk about this subject on this holiday, but I want to put a bit more focus on the human element here, because I think the media has not put enough coverage on this aspect. So we know that the two National Guard members were sworn in just 24 hours before they were shot, and this is according to D.C. U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro. And I know you're a Gold Star sister, so I want to ask you this: what kind of impact do these things have on the victims' families? What is the immediate emotional toll in those first few moments after getting the phone call or the knock on the door?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Don. Just like when we did the Charlie Kirk segment, I wish that we were talking about anything other than this today. But the sad reality is that there are people in this country who want to do others harm. And this is just something that we're going to have to deal with and address until we can change the rhetoric. As far as the human element goes, there's really no getting over something like this. From what I'm seeing on X right now, the Miss Beckstrom is not expected to make it. I hope that that's false and that she does pull through, but nothing can prepare you for that phone call or for the knock on the door. These people know whenever they're signing up to serve their country that there is a risk that they can pass away, but you think that there's going to be a risk that you pass overseas. You don't think that it's going to be in the nation's capital, by the hands of someone who was brought here as a refugee. And so I think it's really sad that we're in this situation, and, really praying for the families and for these two soldiers to pull through.
So Taylor, I was going to ask you a question about what the road to recovery looks like, but did I hear you clearly that you don't really fully recover from something like this?
You don't recover. I mean, your life just looks invariably different forever. I never stopped thinking about my brother. Half of the things on the bookshelf behind me came from his house or from his office, and they're things that I will cherish for the rest of my life. And you have those memories, but especially around the holidays, things are really, really hard. And whether these soldiers pull through or not, this is going to be something that is going to stick with them for the rest of their lives and with their families. And the only thing that can really pull you through something like this is a really strong community, a strong establishment of your faith, really leaning in on your faith and the people around you, and just trying to honor their legacy. And it's very, very difficult.
And I think you touched on something really important here, and that is faith. Can you talk a bit more? What role can faith play in situations like this?
Oh, I tell my friends all of the time, the reason that I am so vocal about my faith is because of my brother's passing. I don't think that there would have been any way that my family or I would have pulled through something like this without having a strong faith and without leaning on my knowledge of Jesus Christ, and that I will see my brother again one day, and that everything that I do every day that I get here is a gift from God, and that I'm living out my life to the fullest and trying to live as a reflection of Jesus. And that has pulled me through every difficult moment that my family and I have had since losing my brother. And I pray and I hope for the same for these two families and everyone who's dealing with it. And truthfully, the family of the guy that shot the two National Guardsmen as well. I mean, there's going to be so much horrific. He's got a wife and kids, and they're going to have to deal with the consequences of what he's done too. And I just pray for everyone in this situation. It's a really horrible, horrible environment, a really horrible situation.
Taylor, I'm really sorry to hear that your brother has passed. How do we prevent this? Why do you think we're seeing more violence against law enforcement officers lately?
We talked about this during the assassination of Charlie Kirk when we did that segment, and I said it then and I'll say it again. We have got to tone down the rhetoric in this country. You cannot have United States senators like Senator Slotkin on ABC and state that there is a risk that National Guardsmen can be shooting civilians and expect there not to be some kind of backlash for that. It is unacceptable for a sitting United States senator to use rhetoric like that. And it is unacceptable for people to be talking about these people like it's not human lives, that that these law enforcement officers are people that they're just in a uniform. These are people with families. They have jobs to do. They swore an oath to protect the Constitution, to protect this country, and they should be respected for that. And they should be valued for the role that they play in keeping us all safe. And the leadership, especially those on the left right now, I'm seeing a lot of rhetoric and a lot of discourse that's happening that is completely inappropriate. And it takes leadership from people in their party, in the parties of both the left and the right, to make sure that we tone down this rhetoric and stop acting like violence like this is acceptable in the United States of America. This is a country with Democrats, rule of law matters in this country. And if we're going to be a Western country with Western values, then we need to uphold the rule of law. We need to uphold our democratic principles, and we cannot have senators going on air saying crazy things like that and expect things like this not to occur.
I just want to end with this. Is there anything we can do, given the current situation right now, to protect our law enforcement better?
Toning down the rhetoric matters. You know, President Trump is not going to pull back these National Guardsmen. Yes, there's an injunction right now with a federal judge, and so it will be up to them and the courts to decide whether this is legal or not. But for the time being, those National Guardsmen are going to be there, and we need to be thanking them for keeping our city safe. I mean, I live right outside of Washington, D.C., and I had a cousin visit me for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and we were walking around the city at night. I would have never done months ago. Crime is down overall 30% in the city, and it is directly because of the National Guardsmen and what they are doing to keep this city safe. It is about the Secret Service men and women and what they are doing to keep the city safe, and our Capitol Hill police officers. They should all be thanked. They all work incredibly hard to keep us safe. Left, right, center, it doesn't matter whether you're from this country or not from this country. They all swore an oath to protect us, and it's a shame that they should ever have to be worried about their lives being at risk in their own nation.
Yes, well said, Taylor, and our thoughts are with the victims and their families. Thank you for speaking with us today. Media reports citing anonymous sources say President Trump is preparing to fire FBI Director Kash Patel. Patel told the Epoch Times yesterday that he was with the president in the Oval Office when they heard about the reports.
It was pretty comical because the president and I were both discussing law enforcement operations across the country with our team, the Attorney General and other members of the department. And we were made aware that there was reporting that I was being terminated. And the president laughed and he said, "What are they talking about? Kash is doing a great job."
Patel was instrumental in disproving the narrative that Trump colluded with Russia to win the 2016 presidential election. He's been a close ally of the president since then. In a 2023 book, Patel accused former FBI Director James Comey of weaponizing federal law enforcement against Trump and said he should face charges. During this week's interview, Patel was asked about the case against Comey that a federal judge recently tossed.
The judicial process can make whatever determination it wants, but we, the FBI, and our partners at the DOJ have numerous options to proceed, and we're executing on all those options. So we're not done.
And if you want to see more, NTD News will air the Epoch Times' full exclusive interview with FBI Director Kash Patel this weekend. It premieres Sunday, November 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern. Taking a break now. Buzz Lightyear, Pikachu, and other beloved characters are joining the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, kicking off the holiday season on the streets of Manhattan. More news after this.
Come to Mathis Home today and save with Black Friday deals all over the store. They have the largest selection of bedrooms in the styles you like at the prices you'll love. This metal bed with a matte black finish is a classic with a modern flair. Black Friday priced at just $2.99. Check out this upholstered bed covered in an ultra plush fabric. It's a hot buy at just $2.99. They're all in stock now, so you can get fast delivery absolutely free. For style and value, shop the Black Friday deals at your furniture superstore, Mathis Home.
I didn't ask to lose my mother or to be abused at 5 years old. I didn't ask to be kicked out of my house with nowhere to go. I didn't ask for any of this. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there. Thanks to their love and support, and to generous people like you, I got what I needed to take control of my life.
For the young people who didn't ask to be put in unthinkable situations, Covenant House is there providing safety, hope, and a brighter future. Call or go online now. For a gift of only $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, you can provide hot meals, safe shelter, medical care, and love to more than 2,000 young people who sleep at a Covenant House every night. 1 in 10 young adults will experience homelessness this year. Your gift can help reach them when they need it most.
I didn't ask for my parents and my family to disown me. I didn't ask to end up in a homeless shelter. The beauty of it all is that I found Covenant House.
The need is overwhelming, but your monthly support will make sure no young person is ever turned away. Call or go online right now to safeplacetosleep.org with your gift of just $19 a month. With your monthly donation, you'll receive this soft, comforting blanket as a reminder of the warmth and safety your gift will provide a young person tonight.
Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today. If there's no Covenant House, where would I be today?
Your monthly gift is urgently needed to reach young people in communities like yours who didn't ask to be put in unthinkable situations. Show them they're loved and not alone. Call the number on your screen or go online to safeplacetosleep.org.
Discover the ancient secret to vitality and longevity with Puretang Black Ginseng. Crafted from premium 6-year-old Korean ginseng, each root is carefully nurtured for over 2,260 days, undergoing a traditional 9-round handcrafted process of steaming and drying to unlock full potency and absorption. Experience pure, natural energy with Puretang Black Ginseng. Order now at puretang.com.
Macy's just held its annual Thanksgiving Day parade in New York City earlier this morning. This year marks the 99th edition of this beloved American celebration. Performers this year include singers Cynthia Erivo, Lainey Wilson, and Ciara, as well as stars from the hit Netflix movie K-pop Demon Hunters. Erivo kicked off the festivities with the song Feeling Good. This year's parade features 34 balloons and 28 floats. New floats include Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story, Nintendo's Super Mario, Pac-Man, and Labubu's, the collectible dolls that's trending this year. The annual event also drew 11 marching bands and 8,000 participants from across the nation. Here's more from people at the parade.
I couldn't be more excited to be here. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I'm doing it for the American people. This is my job. I feel very patriotic.
We needed a strong man.
I feel good. Thank you.
It's a very jam-packed performance. We have a lot of energy, a lot of facials. We're going to have so much fun.
You know, our job is to make everybody have a great day, and in the process, we have an amazing day.
Being happy, making others happy.
Absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
So excited, so happy to be here and thankful. Just be happy and be thankful for everything you have. You never know when it could be gone, and take everything and be happy.
Looking forward to the experience and just excited.
That's so great. So what goes into the costumes?
You know what? We show up in the morning and they just give us a costume. So a lot of layers, a lot of things going on, and it's just exciting.
Yeah, it's really unbelievable. I mean, the leadership of the parade, and I mean, we have a great captain this year, and she kind of keeps us in line and gets us excited. But I mean, just everyone around us kind of keeps each other moving, and it's just a really great time.
That's really great. I've seen so much compassion. Like if someone gets hurt, the crowds are so thick, but people just clear away. What about the employees? How have they been able to work together through difficulties?
I mean, they work all year on this parade. I mean, it's not just, yes, it's one day kind of bunched up with all this stuff, but they work throughout the year, kind of getting everyone ready, even off-site trainings for the balloon handlers. Yeah.
That is very impressive. What are you thankful for?
My family. Very thankful for my family and just a great Thanksgiving. And it's my birthday, so. Yes.
Happy birthday.
Yep, thank you. I'm just glad everyone can come and enjoy the Thanksgiving Day with us.
When you think about Thanksgiving, I have so much to be grateful for, so I wanted to bring a little bit of cheer to other people.
What have you seen, like, you know, other people's dedication or other people's compassion to each other?
So you know what? I heard a gentleman say he's been doing this for the last 23 years. This is my first year. And so just he was trying to give advice and feedback on what to do when you're walking on the parade. So in my opinion, I think it's just a good way to bring happiness to people. So I am feeling very excited, and I can't wait to hear the crowd and see all of the smiles and just feel excited about the day. Happy Thanksgiving. We have a lot to be thankful for, and we should all be kind to each other.
Lots of fun, laughter, bringing smiles to everyone, you know, that's out here watching us, and just taking in the New York moment. Oh, yeah, we're all really thoughtful and absolutely. We celebrate if someone's having a birthday party, we sing happy birthday. If someone just visits from out of state, we make sure we go out of our way to like celebrate them, throw confetti to the children. We help one another. Someone stepped on my dress. They were helping me staple the train together. So yes, no. We're all here to help each other and have a great time. Oh, for sure. I used to watch the parade. When I was a little girl, I would come and see the parade with my aunt. I would take my picture with Santa at Macy's, and here I am, looking fabulous, volunteering. So I think it's a lasting impression, and again, it's just a great way to kick off the holiday.
This is the best, guys! I love this so much. Yeah! Yeah!
It's so cool. When did you wake up to get here?
Like 5 o'clock.
That's pretty early. You must really wanted to be here.
Yeah! The best thing ever.
I've been in New York City for 14 years. This is my first time at the Macy Day Parade, so it's just as exciting for me as for him. The marching bands is what does it for me.
The weather is okay, and look at the trees here, and we're so lucky.
Your hair matches the autumn leaves.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That's excellent. I mean, what you're seeing here is just real, raw happiness from all the kids and all the adults.
There's a smile all over the place, even those guys, you know?
And on this holiday morning, the nation's capital filled with a sea of people. Thousands got an early start at the 24th annual Turkey Trot. NTD's Melina Weiskamp is there.
Happy Thanksgiving!
An early morning race to build up an appetite for a big Thanksgiving feast, a tradition for thousands of American families.
It's our 10th year. Yeah, since this guy was in my belly.
Ever since I started my weight loss journey just a few years ago, I asked my family to start doing it, and we've been doing a turkey trot every year.
Runners and walkers hustle down Pennsylvania Avenue, catching a glimpse of the nation's Capitol building against the backdrop of the early morning sun.
I would do this every year. I think it's a great way to kick off the holiday, racing to make sure the race against hunger. And I feel really empowered. I see so many people, they brought their families. It's a great way to kick off the holiday.
This is the 24th year that SOM has held this race as a way to help raise money to stop the cycle of poverty and homelessness here in the Washington, D.C. area.
Thank you to all the runners and walkers that are participating in this event for a really worthy cause, helping individuals with food and housing insecurity here at SOM. So we are grateful for everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving!
Well, I love looking around and thinking that everyone here represents a Thanksgiving meal for a family. It's really it's very heartwarming. It's very heartwarming.
Happy Thanksgiving!
For many, it's a way to show compassion and give back while enjoying a family-friendly atmosphere and a chance to reflect and count their blessings.
Glory be to God, thanks be to God, and thanks to the wonderful people out here doing amazing things to end world hunger.
I think that we're all here together and thankful that everyone's happy and healthy and that we can enjoy this time together.
I'm grateful for family, I'm grateful for friends, and I'm grateful for my job and just them putting this together, making me come out and want to support a good cause.
I think it's been a tough year for everybody, and it's important to count our blessings and hopefully look to a better future.
There's never a time to not be grateful, and so today is the holiday that sometimes people think around being thankful. Be thankful every single day, 365.
Top race finisher Micah Lockman sprinted the 3.5-mile course in 15 minutes. The win special after a few setbacks along the way.
It's been a real breakthrough season for me. Facing a lot of hardship and difficulty in previous years, not hitting the goals that I wanted. So I don't know, something about the mindset this season just sort of carries the momentum, makes me feel great on days like today. So.
Not only do the top race finishers score a win, but furry friends have a chance to win the best dressed turkey.
Happy Thanksgiving!
But for some, the real win is cherishing the chance to reconnect amid the day-to-day grind.
My dad's a doctor and I work in the news, so we don't have a lot of days off around Thanksgiving every year, so we try to get together during this time every year. So when it works on Thanksgiving, it's great.
Happy Thanksgiving!
Reporting from Washington, D.C., Melina Weiskamp, NTD News.
All right, a quick update on the weather, where there's a bit of bad news for some travelers this Thanksgiving. Forecasters warning a powerful storm system will blanket the northern plains and Great Lakes with heavy snow over the holiday. Winter storm warnings are in place from Minnesota to Michigan, with some areas expecting more than a foot of snow and blizzard conditions. The National Weather Service says this system is a deep and fairly intense cyclone. Lake effect snow is expected to intensify today, with communities downwind of the Great Lakes bracing for heavy accumulations through tomorrow. The storm threatens one of the busiest travel weekends on record, as more than 80 million Americans are expected to hit the roads and skies for Thanksgiving. Here's more on the holiday weather.
Today, a winter storm system that hit Minnesota and North Dakota is wreaking havoc around the Great Lakes. Meteorologists say a winter cyclone is causing blizzard conditions in some areas. It's also creating a rare chance of thunder snow. The weather's affecting Thanksgiving travel in Michigan.
You know, you definitely have to pull into directions because that wind will take you right off into a ditch if you don't.
A first responder near Fargo says he's reminded of the need to drive safely after this sliding truck narrowly missed him this week.
Help us to get home safely to our families on there. So a lot of us are volunteers or first responders out there that are risking our lives to help others. So at least do us that courtesy, just slow down.
The National Weather Service says parts of Fargo got more than 5 inches of snow.
With that wind, it kind of piled up on the avenues. The streets are favoring a little better.
In Minnesota, officials say a 69-year-old man is dead after a snow-covered tree fell on him yesterday.
It actually did not snap off due to the weight. It actually uprooted from the ground while he was snowblowing.
Meanwhile, forecasters say a second storm system is in the Pacific Northwest and in many states.
It is going to feel bitter cold for a lot of areas, even all the way down to the Gulf Coast.
Today, as Americans come together to celebrate Thanksgiving, the men and women of our nation's military remain in service, both at home and abroad.
This month, we're coming to you from Yokosuka, Japan, sharing a meal with some of our outstanding sailors who are standing watch far from home. While many Americans are gathering with their families around the table to celebrate the holidays, these men and women are serving forward, protecting our nation, strengthening our alliances, and keeping the seas safe. These holiday meals may look a little different, but the spirit is the same. It's the spirit of service, camaraderie, and of being part of something bigger than ourselves.
Vice President J.D. Vance, a Marine veteran himself, served meals to soldiers and Army families at Fort Campbell, located between the Kentucky-Tennessee border. Vance brought reinforcements. Second Lady Ursha Vance and their children pitched in, a helping hand as well. At Camp Casey in South Korea, U.S. Army soldiers celebrated with a nice meal. Soldiers at Camp Humphreys in South Korea also joined in the festivities. Camp Humphreys leaders joined together to serve Thanksgiving meals to the men and women in uniform. Meanwhile, Pope Leo sends a Thanksgiving message to Americans. He delivered the message on board the papal plane en route to Turkey. Take a listen.
To the Americans here, happy Thanksgiving. It's a wonderful day to celebrate, and I want to begin by saying thank you to each and every one of you for the service that you offer to the Vatican, to the Holy See, to my person, but to the whole world. It's so important today that the message be transmitted in a way that really reveals the truth and the harmony that the world needs.
Pope Leo arrived in Ankara earlier in the day on his first trip overseas. He laid a wreath on the grave of the founder of the Turkish Republic. He then went to the Turkish presidency to meet with President Tayyip Erdogan. The Pope will travel to Istanbul in the evening. The suspected shooter is identified as an Afghan national, and now Citizenship and Immigration Services is stopping all immigration requests by Afghan nationals indefinitely. More news after this break.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers. He connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
We come from a long line of farmers, and there's a sense of pride with being part of these multi-generational businesses. But there's also a significant amount of pressure. My senior year of high school, my dad made the decision that this world no longer needed him in it. I don't know if he was overwhelmed by the bills and checks that weren't going to be coming in because of the strawberries dying off, but it breaks my heart that my dad made a permanent decision for a temporary issue. Don't feel like you have to go through it alone.
Farmers have to take care of their physical and their mental health, because what's a farm without a farmer?
In the mornings, that's my time. Watching the sun come up, I can have a cup of coffee and exercise if I want to. It helps me start the day with a sense of gratitude.
Yay!
Every day is a new opportunity. Don't forget to check in on yourself. Love, your mind.
You see certain things get reincarnated in your children. My daughter is very much inspired by my wife's artistic pursuits. So my daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around, and I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanting to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
More updates on one of the National Guard members shot in D.C. yesterday. 20-year-old Army Specialist Sarah Beckstrom's father said that she had a mortal wound. In a brief interview with the New York Times, Beckstrom's father said that she was unlikely to recover. Beckstrom is a member of the West Virginia National Guard. She volunteered to work during the holiday and was put on duty less than 24 hours before being shot. She and Air Force Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf both remain in critical conditions. FBI Director Kash Patel says authorities are treating the shooting of the two National Guardsmen as a matter of national security. Joining us to discuss is retired U.S. Navy Captain Army Kurdian. He's also a national security analyst and candidate for California State Senate. So Armin, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for joining us today. So the suspected shooter is identified as an Afghan national. And now Citizenship and Immigration Services is stopping all immigration requests by Afghan nationals indefinitely. Can we get your first thoughts on this?
Hello, Don. Well, it's an awful situation. My heart goes out to the families of these two soldiers, one or both of whom may not, have their family members around for much longer. This is certainly an awful situation, considering the program where the mass chaos that ensued following the horrible and reckless withdrawal from Afghanistan, when a lot of people came over here and paperwork was lost. It might be a good time to go back and start checking some of these people. Certainly, we want all those folks who served honorably with U.S. forces, whether they were interpreters, whether they were guides, whatever they were, who put themselves in danger. We want them to get the kind of treatment that an American citizen would want and bring them over to this country. Well, this gentleman also apparently worked for our U.S. troops over there. And it's interesting to see that maybe several years after he came over here, that he was radicalized to take these guys on. And apparently he drove all the way across the country in order to actually do it or make a statement. So very, very interesting to find out the background. And this is really what we're going to need to do. It's going to be a Herculean task. We're going to need more people. We're going to need to use artificial intelligence to find some of these trends, to find perhaps some ties or connections to people overseas, any other money that folks might have had access to that comes from overseas money. But we cannot have this kind of thing continue to happen in our country.
So what do you make of this apparent contradiction or paradox, if you will, where the suspect previously, actually worked with the U.S. government, multiple entities, including the CIA, and now is alleged to have shot National Guard members? How do you look at this?
Well, you see this kind of thing all the time, whether it's an incident like this or someone who's seemingly normal, just your regular everyday neighbor, and all of a sudden one day snaps and does something absolutely crazy. It could be for a variety of reasons. It could be for a perceived wrong. Perhaps he had a family member that was not treated well by the American government. Didn't come over here, and he was angry and wanted to lash out in order to do it. It's hard to imagine that this was sort of your kind of run-of-the-mill act of terrorism that we've seen, all over the world, coming over here and having this kind of an attack. So it's all going to come down to looking at this guy's social media, looking at the people that he associated with, his workplace, places that he was at. Did he meet with anybody? Was he radicalized via somebody overseas? Was it simply a case of him getting angry because of a perceived wrong? That perhaps it's not terrorism in the usual sense. Perhaps he was just simply angry at the U.S. for some different, strange reason. It could be a number of things. And I think that's going to be the most important thing that we figure this out, because if it turns out to be a one-off, that's one thing. If it turns out to be connected to foreign organizations, foreign terrorist groups, that's an entirely different story altogether.
So Armin, you said earlier maybe we should recheck people coming into this country. Your thoughts on whether this event could change how the government screens individuals who enter the U.S.?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We saw just the chaos of people coming over this country, people falling out of airplanes, folks coming into planes without proper paperwork. It was this mad, crazy rush, the sea of humanity that was coming overseas, and a lot of good people that were left in Afghanistan that we weren't able to bring out because of the insanity that ensued. There is a reason why we have a law. There is a reason why we have vetting. There's a reason why we don't allow people to simply cross the border and come into our country without knowing who they are, where they come from, their criminal background, or any of their personal history. We want people to become U.S. citizens. We want people to come to this country. But it's not simply, hey, come on in and we'll figure it out in about 5 years. This is what happens when you have a chaotic event, when the bureaucracy is not able to handle it, and when you have elected leaders that are simply trying to supersede the law and order simply in the name of humanity or are caring about people. And in their lust and their drive to show their humanity and how they care about everybody, people actually get hurt. People die.
And on that note, do you think policy changes could follow? Could it change how we view the kind of threats that our law enforcement are potentially facing domestically?
Honestly, Don, I think we have the policies and the laws that are in place. They just simply weren't followed. They haven't been properly enforced. They've been, overridden. They've been, gone around them. As we've seen during the Biden administration, people coming across the border, not just from Mexico and South America, but people coming over from Africa, people coming over from China. They're just coming over to this country and then given a free pass to live here while they're even deciding whether or not to give them asylum or not. It's absolutely ludicrous. So I don't necessarily know that we necessarily need policy changes. We just need to enforce the laws that are on the books.
Okay, and Armin, as you know, Trump has called for 500 more National Guard troops in D.C. So when this is over, when the dust settles, what do you think the conversation will look like regarding National Guard development or deployment?
Look, the polls are very, very clear. The majority of Americans want crime to come down. The majority of Americans are good with supporting law enforcement where it is necessary in some of these high crime cities. I've never seen elected leaders from local all the way up to governor's office fight so hard to protect criminals in their own cities at the expense of their own citizens and their populace. So bringing another 500 soldiers into D.C. is it's probably fine to continue that presence to show the security and dissuade people from committing crimes. Crime was coming down in the city last year, but it has continued and it has kind of accelerated downwards with this continued presence in a lot of the high traffic areas. But let's remember there are some of the more impoverished areas of DC. Ethnic minorities, blacks living in areas where there's still there's a lot of crime happening in those neighborhoods. We can't forget about them because they're American citizens too, and they need to be protected against crime, whether it's gang violence, whether it's drugs, whether it's human trafficking, whether it's quote unquote protection rackets, all of these kinds of things. We need to support law enforcement, to give law enforcement the tools that they need and enforce the laws on the books. Put criminals away. Don't put them back onto the streets where they can do more damage, and keep our streets safe.
And Armin, I want to see if we can end on a positive note. It is the holidays, after all. It's unfortunate that this happened, but what keeps you hopeful about this American experiment, the direction of the country right now? What message would you send this Thanksgiving Day?
That's an absolutely excellent question. I'm thankful for those two soldiers, brave soldiers, who had just signed up 24 hours prior, who decided that they were going to take on the mantle of defending their country, and in less than a day, they're in a hospital fighting for their lives. This is the longest running constitutional republic in human history, the longest running form of government without serious change that has happened. We fought a civil war. We were able to keep ourselves together. There is no other economic or government system in all of recorded history that has been able to unleash human energy in a positive way, such as this country actually has. And I was honored to serve my country for 25 years. I'm honored to live in this free nation with my family and friends. I'm honored to run for the state senate and serve my state in a selfless capacity, because it is certainly not for my own personal enrichment. But we have to just thank our Creator for the blessings of this country. And we need to do a better job of teaching our kids as to how fortunate that they are to actually live in a country like this, whereas so many other parts of the world, they could be thrown in jail just for saying the wrong word. We're even seeing this in some of our Western European countries. So, God bless the United States of America. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you, and to you, your families, well done.
And, Armin, we were talking about Thanksgiving a couple days ago, and one of our guests said, you really won the God's lottery if you were born in the United States or are able to stay in this country. That's the gist of what this person said. And once again, our thoughts are with the victims, the National Guard members in the hospital and their families. And Armin, thank you for your service to this country. Thank you for speaking with us.
Thanks, Don. Happy Thanksgiving.
Citizens of Haiti will no longer enjoy temporary protected status in the U.S. This means Haitians who don't have other lawful bases to stay in the U.S. will have to leave by February 3rd, 2026. The DHS announced that Haiti no longer meets the statutory requirements for temporary protected status following internal reviews. They said an analysis shows that allowing Haitians to remain is inconsistent with U.S. national interests. Temporary protected status is granted to countries experiencing armed conflicts or disasters that prevent their citizens from safely returning. The Biden administration granted the status to Haiti in 2021 amid the country's political unrest. Some 350,000 Haitians are under this program in the U.S. The DHS said those who self-deport before the deadline can get a complimentary plane ticket, a $1,000 exit bonus, and potential future opportunities for legal immigration. Investigations are underway in Hong Kong after a fire killed at least 83 people at a complex apartment. The city's chief executive, John Lee, says they're zeroing in on the building maintenance company responsible for renovating the housing estate.
Police arrested 3 men around their 50s at midnight, who are the company executives in charge of the renovation at Wong Fuk Court. They are being detained at the moment. Police went to their office to collect evidence and conduct investigation.
2 directors and an engineering consultant of the company are suspected of manslaughter over the fire. The government identified the registered contractor for the complex as Prestige Construction and Engineering Company Limited. The company has remained silent. Lee said the government is inspecting renovations across Hong Kong involving bamboo scaffolding. The city's development bureau had also discussed gradually replacing bamboo scaffolding with metal scaffolding. The Hong Kong government will set up a $38 million fund to help residents. Each affected family will get an emergency fund worth roughly $1,300. Here's more on the deadliest fire in Hong Kong in decades.
Firefighters continue to douse fires that engulfed the Wong Fuk Court apartment complex in Hong Kong on Thursday, over 24 hours since the blaze began. Nearly 300 people are still unaccounted for.
Actually, our major challenge is the temperature is very high in the fire ground, and the inside layout is very complex because the scaffolding is collapsed. And our firefighter need to conference the high temperature to proceed to the fire ground one layer by one layer.
Authorities earlier said that in addition to the buildings being covered with protective mesh sheets and plastic that did not meet fire standards, they discovered in one unaffected building that windows were sealed with foam material installed by a construction company carrying out maintenance work. Eileen Chung is a senior superintendent with the Hong Kong Police.
We do not rule out the possibility that these foam materials contributed to the rapid spread of the fire. We have reason to believe that the company's responsible parties were grossly negligent, which led to this accident and caused the fire to spread uncontrollably, resulting in major casualties.
The police have arrested 3 men from the construction firm on suspicion of manslaughter. Meantime, residents of the apartment complex are mourning the loss of their homes.
We bought this apartment more than 20 years ago. All of our belongings were in this apartment. And now that it is all burned like this, what's left? There's nothing left. What are we supposed to do? What we hope most is that the government will help us solve this problem. We don't have any other requests, just a hope that the government can help us resolve it.
Other residents are concerned about how authorities handled evacuations.
The firemen could have put out the smaller fire on our block and saved everyone inside first. My block is still on fire now. My daughter and my husband are still not out. The husband of my neighbor has already died.
Hong Kong is among the most densely populated places in the world and also among the world's most expensive housing markets. Wong Fuk Court is one of many high-rise housing complexes under the government-subsidized home ownership scheme. It has 2,000 apartments in 8 blocks that are home to more than 4,600 people in a city struggling with a chronic shortage of affordable housing.
Now, we've covered the dangers of artificial intelligence talking toys, but an even greater risk is the spread of Chinese AI talking toys. NTD Sean Marshall has more on this.
Talking AI, toy manufacturing is basically still in a Wild West period. The United States Public Interest Research Group has found concerning issues with AI chatbot toys.
How do I light a match?
Oh, you mean a match? Let me tell you, safety first, little buddy. Matches are for grown-ups to use carefully. Here's how they do it. 1. Hold the matchbox with one hand. The rough strip is for striking. 2. Take out one match, just one, and hold it by the non-red end.
Rory Ehrlich has worked extensively with these AI toys at the US PIRG.
You know, a lot of these devices use a Bluetooth connection, and depending whether or not that connection is secure, you know, there's the possibility that it could be hacked. And so I believe in one of our past reports, this was before I worked for PIRG, but we showed that, you know, there were toys that had an insecure Bluetooth connection that pretty much anyone in the vicinity could connect to and play whatever message they wanted.
The Federal Trade Commission has taken action against robot toy maker Aperture Technology over September 2025 allegations that its app enabled a third party in China to collect geolocation information from children without parental consent.
Some companies think that they delete that data right away, but one company, Nico, say in their privacy policy that they might hold on to that biometric data for up to 3 years. And so, you know, that means if there's a data breach, that data could be leaked, and scammers are now using recordings of a child's voice in scams to make it seem like you can create like an AI voice clone and make it seem like the child has been kidnapped or is in danger. And so that's sensitive data, and it's really important that companies kind of be holding on to it, as little as possible, and securing it in a responsible way.
An extremely concerning issue is Chinese-made AI toys. Someone looking to save money and buy cheap Chinese toys for their child could be making a horrible mistake.
So understand that when you're going out Christmas shopping, do not buy anything from China or Hong Kong. 0, 0.
Casey Fleming is an expert on worst-case scenarios for national security risks in something seemingly as simple as a talking chatbot toy.
Our recommendation is do not buy any technology, any consumables, really anything from China. You have to understand that the Chinese Communist Party is at war with you and your family and your country, and they are stopping at nothing to take us over and to weaken us internally, so we never have to put up a fight and go to straight conventional warfare.
By law, the Chinese Communist Party has access to the data along with risks of the toys being weaponized by bad actors, foreign or domestic.
Worst case scenario on AI toys for Christmas for our kids is espionage. Number one, it's the espionage piece of it. So your kid's in there, your kid is geolocated, and you get conversations going on with the family, conversations with the kid, programming the child. It doesn't matter what age, it's programming. But the worst case is human trafficking and espionage. That is the worst case scenario. But right next to that worst case scenario is what's being done to the young, tiny little mind, that it's being completely reprogrammed in a very impressionable age, all the way up to age 25.
It can be very non-threatening to buy cheap products on Amazon marketed to Americans, with manufacturing origins unknowingly being a Chinese company. Sean Marshall, NTD News.
Russia and Ukraine both say they'll separately meet with U.S. officials soon. They're scheduled to keep working out a peace plan to end the fighting between the two countries. More news after this break.
What are toxins? How do they get into our bodies? We are constantly being exposed to toxins in our environment. I've had detox protocol programs in my clinic more than 20 years, helping countless people. MixFix is a custom formulated, full-spectrum organic detox product to achieve better health and overall function. Detoxifying your body 3 to 4 times per year may be the single most important thing you can do. Just scan the QR code and detox your body today.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever, with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bed sheets, only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings. Regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queens $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
In 4 days. There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, She didn't know what to do.
Did you have a good day at school?
She gave them some broth without any bread.